The last feature on the pen is the settings. And this is something that you will use from time to time, maybe quite often. When I go ahead and open up settings, now this is where when you turned your pen on the first time, it ran the wizard for you. Now, let's say you have a right-handed student. There's multiple ways you can do that. You can make adjustments inside of the settings here by just scrolling down. Another easy way to do it is just hit Run Wizard and just kind of, it'll open up to everything that you already have in there. Now here's right-hand and left-hand. I can adjust that if I want to, but I leave that. I don't even have to move the pen because it'll be on the choices that I've already made on the pen, but I can make adjustments there. And I can walk through that whole thing again, or I can do with the settings, I can just scroll down. So I can go, well, here's the menu. Do I want the menu, talking menu on or off? I can turn it off here. I can go to my speed and turn my speed on. Now, when you open it up, you'll see that it's actually set on 2.5 because what they did little dots. And so they make each number a half a dot. So we set it on 5, if you remember. So now we're set on 2.5 because there's up to 10, as well as a continued boost on that. So I can walk through that. I can turn my volume up and down. Let's say you have a student that just needs a louder voice in their ear, or maybe they're autistic or have special ed needs that require them to have a different volume set. You can customize this pen right there for that. So I'm going to go in again to my volume and I'm going to turn it on 10 and I can continue right down. Again, here's my display. I'm going to have my auto shut off after 30 minutes, or my brightness, I can adjust that. If you have a vision student that maybe needs higher brightness, I can continue moving down. Left-handed, right-handed, I can choose that. Here I can set my date and time. I've got my date set up. And let's go into that year and let's explore that a little bit on how it's set up. So it's set up basically on a European schedule. So that's something you'll have to get a little used to with that. But let's go down here. Now we have system info. Here I can find out what my version is. I talked about earlier on how you can bring in additional updates on your pen. So I can scroll down here to my version. I can see I've got the latest update. It's 1.0.04. That's got the latest and greatest updates on it. And I can be happy with that. System settings, if I open that up, you'll see now, here's where we have what is called the exam lock. And this is something that's very useful. We've got pens called the exam pen that the only thing it will do is text read. It won't do some of these other features. It doesn't have a dictionary in it. It doesn't have a recorder. You can't save text on it because it's meant for a testing situation. But the nice thing about the Reader Pen 2, you can actually create the Reader Pen 2 to be an exam reader. So if I go in here and I scroll down to my lock mode, now I've got 3 modes available to me. One of them is text reader only. The other one is reader plus the dictionary. And then the third one, of course, is all the features. And that's not even on there. If you don't choose the other 2, it automatically goes to that one. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to say, I only want this to be a reader. So I select my reader. Now I go up to exam lock and I say, I want to turn that on. So I hit my left-hand arrow and I have to set up a password. So the way you do that is it's just a numerical password and you have up to 10 numbers that you can load in. So I'm just going to go ahead and load in 1. Okay, so I load 1, go 1, scroll over, 1, scroll over again, 1, and now I hit the middle button, and that password is saved. So what that means, when I go ahead and close out of this, you'll see now I don't have those other features. Remember that the dictionary's not there, the recorder's not there, the library's not there. The only thing I have there is a reader. And this is really a great thing. we've seen this, the exam aspect of our pens explode. For instance, in England, they do multiple written tests every year. And they're required by law to provide readers for students that don't have the ability to read and function correctly to make that exam easier for them to be able to take the exam. Well, during COVID, how did that work? We had to be 6 feet apart, right? So this pen really gave them an answer for that, because it allowed the student to be able to use this right in the privacy of their own headphones in an exam, and were able to set up and become confident in knowing that they could read that exam with the reader. Now, I'm going to go back once again to settings. I'm going to open up settings. Now, I want to change that back to where it was. So I go down to system settings. I open that up, and now I'm going to change to the exam lock. I'm going to select that to off. So I got to put in my password again. It's always good to remember your password. I'm going to hit the middle button. Now unlocked is successful. Now let's go back to the main features again, and there they all are. So the other adjustment you can make on this pen is you can turn it into a reader and just a dictionary. Now we've got some districts that just don't want the pen to record. They don't want to have some of these other features on there that can be problematic. We don't want 7th grade boys putting recordings on the pen, if you know what I mean. So that's something that, they've said, well, how can we do that? So the way you do that is you just go in to the settings again, select settings, and follow what I just showed you. Open up settings. I'm going to now go down to this lock mode, and I'm going to change it to reader and dictionary. Now I'm going to go up and select set the password. So I'm going to go 111 again. Again, now when I go back, you'll see that all I have available to me is dictionary and reader. Now, when I go into my dictionary, there I have my history still. So I can review that history and I can have those definitions, but it keeps the recording availability off and some of those other features that sometimes can be problematic. And again, what I love about this pen is that it really allows you to set it up for that student. As we walked through those settings, you notice that you can set the volume the way it needs to be. You have things like word pause that you can load in there. So instead of saying the cat ran across the road, it would say the cat ran, and so forth, and with that. And that's where you'll find that if you have students that just need some more space between the words, that word pause can be a very cool thing. And you can find that right in the read settings. There's the word pause, punctuation pause. Again, when you set this pen up, these are certain features that you want to have. So I want to make sure that you have the availability of the best setup video that we have, so you can utilize that, because we want this to work the best for your kids. So as I go down this setting, again, I can walk through so many different things with this student to set them up to be the best for them. So we've talked about these features inside of this pen. We've talked about the reader. We've talked about the dictionary. We've talked about the recorder. We've talked about the library. We've talked about practice and how that can be utilized inside of the pen for your students. And then the settings.